Have you guys ever noticed that whenever you use particular words or phrases like thugs, gangsters, ghetto, that when you say those words, typically liberals will say, "Oh, that's racist." And then you'll say, "How is that racist?" "Oh, because you're saying that black people or Hispanic people or ghetto or racist." And you just say the word. Now, let's dissect that. You never said a particular race or culture or skin tone. Nothing. You just said, "I despise thugs and gangsters," right? Now they put a assumption to your intentions, which realistically shows their intentions and their perceptions of that particular word, right? So then they'll virtue signal to you and say, "Oh, you're racist because you use that word." And again, they make the assumption that you were using that word associated with a particular skin tone. Now, that is very passive aggressive racism right there. That is what Malcolm X says is the liberal white racists that we have in America. They're passive aggressive, they're deceitful, they're manipulative, they twist things around, they victimize themselves for power. For power. We as a society need to wake up and realize this deception that we have right now, this manipulation that we have going on right now. If someone puts words in your mouth, assumes your intentions on words, and if we're going to a society where now we're unable to say phrases or words simply because it's considered hate speech, it doesn't say anything about you. It says more about the person accusing you of that particular word or phrase that you're using. That is the source of the divisiveness. That is the source of identity politics and how poisonous it is to communication and dialogue that we can have for each other. We can't move or progress forward when you are playing race games, when we are playing identity politics games. Why? Because if I tell you we need less thugs, less gangsters, less ghetto areas in the United States, we need to invest in those areas where you despise this type of character. What you're saying when you say I don't like thugs or gangsters is you don't like a particular character that presents themselves in a manner that's intimidating or off-putting or troubling or looking to cause a commotion. That is a judgment of the individual's demeanor and character. It has nothing to do with skin tone. Now, when liberals do this nonsense to associate words with meaning of intentions on the skin tone of the particular person or race, that assumption in itself is racist. That is the purest form of racism. And you see how this identity politics crap, we can't move forward until we diminish and literally just destroy it. And you need to dispose of it. It needs to be gone. Because then language and communication can't be clear, true, factual, to the point to where as a society and country, we can progress forward. When we're unable to judge accordingly with right, correct, honest truth that is going to progress our country, then we will regress backwards. We will regress backwards. Why? Because when we're unable to speak the truth of particular subjects, then that stagnates a culture, a country, and even a race, yes. But again, we can't associate ourselves by subcultures. We need to associate ourselves as Americans. We are Americans. So if someone says, or if we say, "Hey, yeah, I despise gangsters, I despise the ghetto, I despise, it could be, I don't like people that do drugs in the middle of the road," and then someone accuses you of saying, "Oh, that's racist," the true intent of them assuming that you're talking about a particular color shows that they are the real racist. We need to expose these people that are passive aggressive, that put intentions in your words, take things out of context. Once we do that, we're able to move forward. The whole race game, no one wins when we play the race game. No one wins. When we start from the stance of we are all Americans, we are all united, and yes, we have areas and particular classes that struggle more than others, we can agree on that. When we start from that foundation to say we have a giant lower class, we have a homeless crisis, we have a heroin epidemic, we have a drug issue, when we can all agree that that's the issue and move past of you saying, oh, you said homeless, that means you're assuming the blacks or Hispanics. No, we need to move past that. We can all agree that we need to take care of Americans. We can all agree that putting more money to assist and encourage bad behavior is not the answer. America spends the most on the planet for welfare, for assisting the poor. It does not work. The money can go elsewhere. People need more education. They need more access to education. The cost of education needs to go down drastically. And I'll make a separate video about my ideas of what we should do as a country to progress forward and make education easier to access, no matter your circumstances, no matter your financial situation. We need to create a system that, again, as long as the individual wants to pursue the happiness, which is what the founding fathers wanted, we need to create a system that's smooth enough for them to pursue that, have the ability to pursue that. Instead, right now we have hopelessness. Why? Because the barrier to entry is so high for those of a lower class. They just say, listen, I can't do it. It's not worth it. It's impossible. We need to lower that. Make it simple. Make it easy. Make it to where you don't have to have a mother and father to get into college. You don't have to be tens of thousands of dollars in debt to get into college. Anyway, this is just, one of my ideas. I'll make a separate video about this. But anyways, back to my original topic here. Identity politics, the race game, it is not going to move us forward. We need to be honest with ourselves and delete, it's a weird word to say, delete that from our communication that we have. If you notice that the party that always wants to label you and identify you, not as Americans, but by a particular community, by a particular location, by a particular country, at the end of the day, we're all Americans. If you're African American, most African Americans here act differently than those true Africans that came from Africa or live in Africa now. We can have a separate discussion of how crazy it is in Africa in certain parts. But African Americans, even that name, I ask myself, what is that? What is the definition of that? Whenever I hear people that disagree with black conservatives, like myself, they always say, well, you're Uncle Tom, or you're a bootlicker, or this, that, and the third. They always give me these demonizing words and phrases. And I'm just like, dude, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? What does that mean? And then they tell me, oh, you're not black. Hearing the whole Joe Biden thing, you're not black if you don't vote for me. Or whenever I talk to other people and tell them, hey, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a conservative. I'm a religious man. I believe in hard work. I believe in being a person of my word, a good character. And then there are some people that say, you talk. Listen to this. This is insane. You talk white. You act more like a white person. See, this identity politic nonsense has to stop. The race game does not work. We need to redefine that. I define that as being an educated person, a person that reads, a person that likes to be informed, a person that holds himself to a higher standard. That is the standard of being an American. Let's redefine that. The standard of being an American, the standard of wanting to pursue happiness, being able to pursue that happiness. That's different. That has no skin tone. That has no skin tone at all. Why does it have a skin tone? You know how hilarious that sounds? But you know how demeaning and disempowering that is? It's a trick. It's trickery is what it is. It's the most passive aggressive, demonizing, disempowering thing that liberals do to people like myself. They say, well, you're not acting like your culture. You're not acting like who you are. Well, who am I? Who are you to tell me who I am, how I'm supposed to act like? What does that even mean? We need to let go of this notion that because I look a certain way that we're obligated to act according to the stereotype that what you see on TV. Right? It doesn't make sense. You know, it's like we have stereotypes associated with looks. Could be my goatee or my hat, or people that wear hats, or people that have this type of haircut, or people that have my type of build. We can't have that. See, there's no winning when you judge a person by looks. There's no winning in that. We have to destroy that. We have to let that go in our culture. We have to let that go. And again, those people that tell me how and who I'm supposed to be like, if you're white, that's racist. If you're black and you tell me I'm not black enough, or I sold out to my black or Hispanic people, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. You are passively aggressively disempowering me. And really what you're saying deep down is that you envy that you are not able to do what I do. And this isn't a competition. It's just that it comes from an envious place. It comes from a place of jealousy. It's like, why is there two sides? Why do you have to separate? Who conditioned you to believe that? And I guarantee you, where does that conditioning come from? Where does that type of dynamic come from? The Democrat Party. They speak in this type of language that conditions the mind. Even the news does this crap. Imagine a world that we're not defined. Imagine a world that we're not defined by our appearance and complexion and skin tone and country that we're from, where you're not obligated to act any type of way. None. Do we have definitions of good character, of good morals? Yes. Can you have different types of personality? Yes. Can you be introvert and extrovert? Yes. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? No. But is there a standard for excellence that we can define for bringing value to the marketplace, for being hardworking? Yes. There are cold, hard definitions for that. And if you ask me, yes, we should all be obligated to act like that, to contribute to society, so we can all be a good, united country that is number one in innovation and freedom. Anyways, I'll end there, but thanks guys for watching. Take care.